So good evening, my friends, and welcome to 2025 Halloween night. I thought I would throw this together because I recall my two favorite adult Halloweens. You know, I don't like dressing up. I don't like dressing up, so I don't participate. And that has gotten me in two troubled Halloween Eve nights. Let me tell you about them in this video. That first cut was the first take. I tried to redo it, but it was too perfect. And I was supposed to be wearing these. Happy Halloween, everybody. It's 2025. It's Halloween night. And I was prompted today to say, I got to put this video up because I have these stories to tell about my two most memorable, maybe three, Halloweens, two as an adult, and why I've never been a person that wears a costume. So with that said, this has got to go. So what's up, boomers? Tonight, where am I supposed to look here? I think it's over here. What's up, boomers? So I was prompted to do this video by a post in the school platform on one of the communities I participate in, and they said, "Hey, what are y'all wearing today for Halloween?" I'm trying to get that glare out of there. What are y'all wearing today for Halloween? And everyone's post a picture of yourself. And I've just never been one to do to dress up. So I just basically said, "Hey, I'm a Halloween party pooper," and that's an odd term, but it's one of those people that ruin or they ruin the vibe by not participating. That's me. But then I thought, wow, I do have a couple funny stories that I think will make you laugh. Makes me laugh when I think about them, as far as the ghosts of past Halloweens in my life. I'd like to tell you those stories tonight. So a number of years ago, I was working at the University of Phoenix. We had a pretty big department, had multiple teams, and of course Halloween came along and there was going to be a big costume competition by team. And I basically told my team, "Hey guys, good luck, but I'll be there to support you. But I don't do the Halloween thing." But, oh yeah, you do, Phil. You're dressing up. I know I'm not dressing up. I really, it's just no thanks. Thanks, but no thanks. And you would have thought it was like saying, I don't believe in Santa Claus. Oh no, you've got to believe in Santa Claus. But they made it very clear you have to. So this just happened in a matter of an hour or so one afternoon. We were talking about what should we be, because the team had to be a unit in this endeavor. But they could tell they were pretty. This gal Jessica, I haven't heard from her for many years, but she. And by the way, I have a picture to show you of this. So when I put this on the screen and talk about it, I'll point her out. She was enthusiastic. She's 20 something years old. And she said, "Well, listen, Phil," she finally said, after about an hour of going back and forth, arguing with me about how I had to dress up, and everyone on the team just going, and I was the oldest guy back then. I was probably in my late 40s at that time, maybe 50. I don't know. But anyway, she said, "Well, if you're not going to dress up, then we are going to dress like you." And that's what they did. Now, as they started talking about this that afternoon amongst themselves, oh my gosh, they got super excited. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was pretty comical because, and again, I'm going to post this picture, but maybe I'll put it up now. No, I'm going to first describe me as they saw me. I used to wear these shirts. They thought they were Aloha shirts. They weren't. They were just really real plain, kind of had some kind of leaf and tree look in them. I don't know. But I used to wear those shirts, the collared shirts, or polos, black or white. I had longer hair. I had my glasses. Trying to think all the things. They put this costume together. Jessica knew I was an Ohio State fan, so you know, Ohio State paraphernalia was acceptable, I guess. But the hair, the boots, the cowboy boots, and jeans, and that was my daily wear to the job. Well, before that afternoon was done, she had gotten on, I don't know, I guess it was Amazon or someplace online, and ordered these hair pieces that were brown. Not great. My hair was pretty brown back then. I have proof in the picture coming up. And you know, everybody started putting their costume together, obviously. Well, the hair showed up a week or two later, within a week or so, and there was a gal on the team that liked cut hair or had maybe had a license to cut hair. And we actually spent on company time, by the way, um, that afternoon everyone putting their hair on, and Victoria cutting the hair to kind of match mine. And so it all came together that they celebrated Halloween that year dressed as me. So wig trimming day was a fun memory. And of course, of all the teams, I must admit, we didn't win. That was kind of a blow to my ego. But looked, they really took it seriously and looked like me in spirit, I guess. And of course, it made that Halloween a very comfortable time for me because I just had to dress like myself and I was in costume. You know, and as I think back on that, I think that made me an influencer back in the day. So even though I didn't, quote, officially join in, they found a way to include me, and it was a great time. And I'm going to put up a picture now and take a look at this.
Okay, this picture brings back some memories. As you can see here, Jessica is in the red Ohio State jersey. I'm obviously in the back in the middle. Notice the black polos. Everybody has jeans on. There are some with the boots on. The hair actually looks gray. I think she purposely did that because they saw me as old. But if you notice my hair, it's quite brown. And then Tony in the far left in the back, he wore his outfit that night to a party, and they called it the Aging Hipster. Well, lots of fun. This were a great team, and they really made that Halloween special.
Okay, so this was crazy. Now, a buddy of mine back in that day, this would have been back in the 90s, I think. No, right, early 2000s. We used to go down. This is back when I didn't have the best habits, although this wasn't too bad. Every Friday, we would meet up at a local sports place, and we'd have a beer or two. And then we would go downtown for the live band that night. And the band normally started at 9 p.m. Well, it was Halloween, and it was a Friday night, just like it is this year in 2025. And his name was Ken. We did this for years, just as a side note. And so Ken says, hey, one of my friends, he had a lot of friends, and he said, she's having a Halloween party, but it's a costume party. And, you know, she's a really close friend. She's invited me, and not me. I didn't know this person, but you know, she invited Ken and said, hey, why don't we stop by? And I said, well, Ken, yeah, she made it real clear you were to wear a costume. So I got to thinking. Now, we were going to go to this costume party and then go to, you know, I think we were to show up around 7, and then we were going to have a beer or something, hang out with the people, and then leave to go see the band at 9 o'clock. So we show up about 7 in our costume, and here's what it was. I don't know when it was, a few months prior to that or whatever. There's a guy that came into the place we used to go on Fridays, a sports bar place, and he walked in, and he had these Billy Bob teeth. And if you ever know what that was, it's pretty amazing. It was back when they were brand new. And he was wearing a set that had they were big teeth, and it had this huge gold tooth. I mean, huge, right there. And he was coming in, and we were sitting there going, we literally were going, does this guy know what he looks like and stuff? And he's sitting next to a buddy over here, a friend of ours, might have been, and a woman as well. And so he's just talking. He's kind of talking like a redneck, whatever they talk like, you know. And all of a sudden we hear him say, "Oh, you like my tooth?" And we're so embarrassed because he's serious. And the person he says this to is this gal, and she got real embarrassed. Says, "Oh no, oh no, that's I wasn't staring at your tooth." Yeah, which is all you could do with this guy, stare at this tooth. Anyway, he played it up real good, and then he sold everyone at the bar that wanted a pair of whatever this stuff. They were like $10. Well, unfortunately, I didn't buy my teeth that night, but I told Ken, I said, "Hey, remember that guy with the Billy Bob teeth? That's going to be our costume. I'm going to go find us Billy Bob teeth." I don't remember. I think it was pre-internet. I mean, it was early 2000s, so I guess I could have ordered them online. I don't remember. But I think I went somewhere and found them, and I bought a pair for him and a pair for me. Kind of real ugly looking teeth and stuff. I said, "This will be our costume, and we'll put them on and go in the party and just talk like whatever." So that's what we did. Well, as you can imagine, we get to the party. We're at the door. We pop the teeth in, and they answer. Some people, "Oh, come on in, Ken." And Ken says, "Yeah, that's my buddy Phil," and stuff. And actually, it wasn't quite like that. It was like he smiled with his teeth in, and people immediately started laughing. And then, of course, you can't put Billy Bob teeth in and talk like this. You got to say, "Hey, y'all, how you doing?" And then show your teeth, you know. And that's what we did. And we lasted not more than an hour. So by 8 o'clock, you know, people were saying whatever the name of the host was is really, really angry, and she's feel you know she just wasn't happy about it. We probably had 2 beers there, and finally she came directly over to us, and we said, "Hi, how you doing?" She goes, "This isn't funny. I find no humor in what you're doing, and you need to leave." Well, we didn't want to make more of a scene than we already had, and we left. To the humor of many that said, "Gosh, this was the best." They thought this was great. Matter of fact, I'll bet to this day many of them went to costume parties in the future wearing Billy Bob teeth and nothing else. But it was an easy costume because we just had to take the teeth out, hop in the car, go down to the establishment where the band was playing. We had a good night, listen to music, and look normal in our flannel shirts, jeans, and boots, which was that you've heard of the Canadian tuxedo. This would be the Colorado tuxedo. So I guess it could be said I did get kicked out of a Halloween party, a Halloween costume party, for wearing a costume, but it just wasn't appreciated. So today, this day where everyone is talking costume and planning costumes, and Halloween having become such a big adult holiday, really. Those are 2 memories I had. I just wanted to share with you today. And those are 2 Halloweens I'll never forget. And if I can, unfortunately, I have no pictures. Back then, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have, if you want to take a picture, you'd have to. I think I had a Canon PowerShot, which are really great cameras. But I wish I had some pictures of that night, or even better, a few videos. So, how about you? Do you still dress up? What was your costume this year? Or are you one of those like me that you would never dress up? You won't dress up? And let me know in the comments. Well, if you like these stories, subscribe, because I've got a lot more to tell you, share with you. I enjoy them. It is also one way for me to recall and remember times past that I don't want to forget, actually. So happy Halloween, everyone. Stay safe, have fun. And I think they illustrate that sometimes not dressing up makes for the best stories, even on a holiday like Halloween. Okay, I'm putting this in here because if I find the picture I'm thinking of, I have one other Halloween memory and one other Halloween picture I want to share with you right now. And I'll pop it here at the very end of this video on the screen. This is What's Up, Boomer Phil, back in 1990 something, with my 2 kids who are both now about 40, or well, my daughter's definitely, they're both about 40 some years old. And this was a Halloween good memory, carving pumpkins. Here it is.